r/AskReddit by Reddit watchers. What were you excited about to do for the first time? Did it? And then said I'll never do it again? Posted this before here. But yeah. I'm good, never doing this again. La Tomatina. Massive tomato fight in a small village in Spain. 20,000 participants in a narrow street. Drunk, full bladders packed in like sardines. National Guard is there to monitor. Then they force the trucks through to drop tomatoes on you to throw at others. You will get stepped on. You will get peed on, pee on someone. You will have tomato in every crevice. You will have to throw out everything you wore that day. I've always heard women get sexually assaulted at this event. Like crazy. Taking a freelance job I was excited about and saying we'll sort money stuff out after. This caused me physical pain to read. Skydiving. It was fine. But one and done for me. Same. Skydiving timeline. Nerves. Super nerves. Intensity. Loudness. Sudden crotch pain. Dealing with excess adrenaline in a calm situation. Bumpy landing. Hobble away with all the sound muted for the next few hours. New Year's in Times Square. Any large public night celebration. It's awesome until the event is over, but once it's done, you're now stuck in a massive mob of people trying to get home. The subways are cramped. There are no taxis, and if you drove it takes you 30 minutes to leave the parking lot and 2 hours to clear the traffic jam. Much better to watch it on TV with some friends. Have some drinks. Get a nice kiss. And go to bed right after. Cocaine. Not because it was an awful experience, but because it was so much fun. I had a blast the first time I did coke, and just by chance I was offered come again the next night. I got a huge rush of excitement, then I got scared about how excited I was to try it again. I refused the offer and didn't do it again. Holy shit, man. You won the game. Ducking, congratulations. Skydiving. A friend and I went to a really good place to try it out. Took the class. Met the experts. Did a tandem jump. It was absolutely exhilarating. No fear at all. I trusted the gear and my instructor. I didn't hesitate when it came time to jump out of the plane. I loved every second of the free fall so much that I waited until the last possible moment to pull the ripcord. The guy strapped to my back had to grab my wrist and pull my hand down to get me to open the chute. When it opened, one of my balls was under the harness and I did not enjoy that. But once I got my body weight off my scrotum, the parachute ride was also incredible. Super fun. Relaxing and exciting at the same time. I botched the landing and broke my coccyx in the impact. But my adrenaline was so high I didn't even notice until the next day when I sat on a wooden bench. It healed weird, so I get genuinely butt-thud sometimes. But no hard feelings there. My buddy who went on the trip with me got really into it. He jumped dozens of times and got all kinds of certifications. He wanted to become a smoke jumper and fight fires in remote locations. One day, he was jumping into rough weather. Caught a rock gust just before landing and got thrown across a baseball field and through the scoreboard. One of his ankles was annihilated. And he's got pins and screws holding his skeleton together now. So it was great. But I'm good with the one run. A memory to last a lifetime. I'll stick to roller coasters to get my thrills. Isn't skydiving like duck? I don't wanna and then herk and then oh hey, this is cool? Exploring deep into a cave. Too dangerous. In a bad place to get trapped. Lost. Or injured. Somebody already said anal. I shaved my private parts 2 days ago and it's an itchy hell. My first time, so it might be my inexperience with shaving. Any tips are welcome. Or am I even supposed to shave there? I really don't know. Never had the talk. Edit. Okay, out of all the comments I made, this would be one of the last I expected to blow up. Also, this is my first going over 100 upvotes, so thank you, and thank you for the replies. I was off doing schoolwork for 2 days and it really didn't go well, so this is nice to see after a bad day. I just trim it once a month. Trimmer without attachment. To keep it from going out of control. It is a little itchy for a couple hours. Trimming also avoids the ingrown hair you might get from shaving. Egg up the anus to test if the anus really does suck things up like a vacuum. What? I was young and stupid. You idiot. Why wouldn't you at least hard boil the egg first? Why would you put a raw egg up your ass? Childbirth. I didn't learn my lesson and I'm pregnant for the second time. I was pretty excited to go out to an oil platform in the Gulf of Mexico. I thought to myself, it's something that not many people in the world get to do. I get to actually see all of my work in action, etc. The food served on board was phenomenal, but there's not many other positives. My daily schedule was as follows. Repeat that for 2 weeks straight, no days off while you're out on the platform. There is satellite TV, but I hardly had time to watch anything. Internet was satellite, so it literally took me 16 hours to buffer a 5-minute video at 180p. Yes. 180. There's no one you really talk to aside from your immediate co-workers, because everyone on the platform is either working, eating, or sleeping, who you will also generally share a room with. So after a few days, you've kind of had enough of them. Bear in mind this was before consumers had the ability to download Netflix and Amazon movies shows onto their devices. I worked in the control room, which was in the same building as my room and the galley. So unless I really wanted to get all of my PPE, personal protective equipment, on, I didn't leave the windowless building. Even then, knowing you're willingly walking out to an area where 1,000 things could kill you deters you from doing so. The first time was okay-ish. The second to the 30th time were miserable for me. I worked in a salmon processing plant in middle of nowhere, Alaska, for a summer. They fly you up from Seattle. And if you finish your contract, they'll fly you back to Seattle. 16 hours a day. 7 days a week. For however long the season is going. Sometimes there are issues at the plant, so you get a few hours off. But my schedule was basically the same as yours. Maybe an hour or two less of work a day. But our breaks were only 15 minutes. It was a great experience and looks good on a resume. And I met some great people from a ton of different cultures. But that shit is miserable. Cold, damp constantly. Everyone gets sick. The food sucked. Everything is covered in fish scales and stinks. It's like a 12:1 ratio of guys to girls. And you're basically just a warm body to the company, so unless you want to pay a ton for a flight out, you have to stick it out and they will treat you however they want to. I won't do it again. That carnival ride that spins around super fast so you're stuck to the wall and can defy gravity. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I used to love that ride as a kid. Went on it again at 40 and realized that it is a terrible ride. Jump on a trampoline. I've already twisted my left knee twice and it's ever since felt loose. I was in a children's birthday party and they have a full adult trampoline. I was so giddy to experience jumping on it for the first time. I did. And after 2 jumps, I felt my left knee shift a bit and I was done. No to trampolines. Just witnessed a young female patient who went to one of those bounce houses with her kids. Landed funny but somehow was still walking fine afterwards. Eventually went to an ED later that day and ended up being transferred to my hospital because she basically tore every ligament in her knee. Had multiple fractures and occluded her blood supply. After multiple surgeries to repair her leg, she ended up getting an amputation above her knee within a week. Freak accident, but still. Whitewater rafting. We did it the day before they closed half the course because the water was too dangerous. Several of the rapids were level 6, commercially not runnable. As a result, we booked a full day trip and only hit rapid 2. Rapid 1 was unrunnable at like 2 PM. Of course, I ducking fell off on rapid 2 and starting getting pulled back to the first rapid. An important rule is to not swim near the shore in fast water because of rocks. But the boat had gone around the corner, so I said screw that and swam ashore. I essentially border jumped into Zambia. Anyway, the stupid guy in his fancy kayak came back for me and made me jump back in. My cousin proceeded to break her nose in another rapid. Another guy on the boat broke his finger and I fell off several times more. Our guide, named Banana, no joke, got over us, so pretty much let us suffer and flip each rapid. We went into a level 5 rapid upside down. I just remember holding onto the guide rope and hoping my pants wouldn't slip off. My other female cousin couldn't stop crying and her and I are close, so I spent half the time I wasn't falling off diving in after her anyway. Half the people got off at the halfway point, so we were literally not strong enough to go into the rapids correctly, so we just kept getting knocked over. But then it's a huge climb at the end. The beer at the top was a nice relief, but seemingly rushing to die wasn't all that great. We bought the DVD after. It was scratched. Hilarious. Binge eat at Thanksgiving. OFC, I say I'll never do it again. But I'm a filthy slut for a good Thanksgiving meal, and I just have to end the day with a food baby. Oh. I worked out a whole eating strategy. You eat a small breakfast during the Macy's parade, bowl of cereal or a piece of toast, and graze lightly as food is prepared. By the time the turkey is carved, you've just teased your appetite all day and you're ravenous when your plate hits the table at 2 or so. Then you focus on your food selection. At least one small bite of everything. Seconds of the carbs. White meat turkey. Carbs tend to compact more in the digestive system and they actually get digested faster. The lower fat white meat also digests a little faster than the high fat dark. But it also doesn't age as well in the fridge, so you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone here. About an hour after dessert you'll be able to get that first round of leftovers in as you clean up. 4:30. Not a real meal. Just a few bites that don't fit neatly in the Tupperware and clean the spoon sort of stuff. Now, round about 6 you could get a small snack in. But I find I get a higher consumption overall if I wait for around 7. Eat a small plate instead of a sandwich. Then go out for your evening. If you're drinking, it'll rack up the calorie count higher without slowing down your digestion. When you get home, that's when you break out the sandwich and maybe a slice of that leftover dessert for your drunken munchies. Threesome. Posted from my throwaway. In hindsight, I think my partner only did it to seem cool. Her friend, a lesbian, had a crush on her and that's why the friend did it. Me, a 21-year-old kid at the time, didn't really take time to think about what kind of emotional baggage or insecurities this might cause for everyone else. Because I was too busy being wrapped up in the fantasy ego of it. Blew up in all our faces. Then our dumbasses did it again and made it even worse. Blew up why? What happened? Music festival camping. In a tent. I've been doing festivals and raves for 10 years but never actually did a multi-day camp until last month. I was so excited. Months of preparation. Spent a shitload of money on tickets. Everything. I hated it. I was unable to sleep for 48 straight hours. And spent the last night in a hotel. There were some major logistics issues at the campsite, especially around toilets and showers, but even without those problems, I can't sleep in a tent due to noise from neighbors. I can't sleep in a tent due to temperature. I don't like being that dirty and dusty that constantly. Cleaning everything up. Packing and getting on the road is a gigantic pain in the ass. At 32 I just can't party as hard as my 20-something friends for days on end without crashing. I came home 100% convinced that was my last festival ever. After a couple of weeks I've decided I'd do it again. In an RV. My own potty. Shower. AC and bed are just requirements for me to have fun. And I'm okay with that. Edit. To everyone asking, it was nocturnal wonderland. And other than the showers and toilets, and my own problems, it was Stodday Ireland, a really cool festival and I did have a lot of fun. I generally don't sleep at music festivals. Bit for different reasons. Floor seats at a concert. Turns out I prefer being up high and not crowded out by people taller than me. And bottle service at a high-end nightclub. We did this for my friend's bachelorette party and I can honestly say I had less fun than going to your average dive bar. Also, RIP my wallet after that. Shit's expensive. The way it was explained to me when I worked in a restaurant is that the bar charges the bottles by how many drinks they can pour from them. Therefore, when you order bottle service, you are preventing them from pouring to others, so you pay for all the drinks that would have sold, making it not the same price if you were to just buy a bottle and go home. Overdosing on painkillers. Ended up puking for 10 hours. That shit hurts. 4/10 would not recommend. Why 4/10? Edibles. Tried it. Had a severely delayed reaction and then it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was going down on my so when it hit. I stopped and looked at her only to say this isn't fun anymore before bolting to the bathroom to promptly puke up my insides into the toilet for the next 8 hours. I learned that bipolar disorder and THC doesn't mix well. 0/10. Worst trip ever. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.